Hey guys, now live. Hi, this is Perry Jetson here. Um, I'm trying to demonstrate for you how to enter data into the registration template that I have given to miles of the coaches. I hope you find this information informative. If you have any questions, please remember to contact me. Number is 235-5087, and I'll be willing to assist you. So without any further ado, I'm going to share my screen and share with you um, the template. Not sure if everyone can see, but make sure that I have this correct. This is my first time using Google Hangout in this format. So, all right. So I believe you cannot see me anymore, but this is the file that I have sent out. I have edited it a little bit, but nonetheless, we shall see how it is working. Now, the first I'm going to do, just to show the features of the template and what I have actually sent to you. Now, in row 1 is the field headings, and the first one is data. In the number, there's a number next to it in brackets, 1. That means that there's only one character that can fit in this section here, in column A, one character. And that one character in for our purpose would be the capital letter D. All right, just the capital letter D. The last name can carry up to 20 characters. And here I have Fleming in for the last name. And first name, 20 characters again. And I'm using Janique's name. And the initial, well, the number 1 is there, which suggests that you can only put in one initial. So if the child has more than one name, middle name, you just have to choose one. You can also leave it blank. But what will be important is that if you're going to leave it blank, that you can't include it in a next representation of the child's name for another event. We're talking about that. So here are the fields. Go straight across to column Q, where we have declaration. Now, not all of the fields we want to put information in. Put information in the section that says ages, we can leave that blank, especially because we are using the date of birth. If you don't know the date of birth of the child, then you can, and you know the age, you can put in the age, and that can work as well. The school year is it has 2 digits, so which means that we can put up to 99. But for all intents and purposes, we only be using 12. In fact, you can also leave this one blank as well. We have in K, column K, we have the event code, and it has up to 10 characters. And right down to the bottom here in this yellow section here, you can click on that. And if you are entering the code name for the 100 meters, it's simply just the 100. If you're entering for the 1500 meters, it's just 1500. 1200 meters would be 1200 as well. High jump, HJ, and you can see the different codes that you will need to use. For the cricket ball throw, that is an unusual event, so it's not really in Meet Manager. So I have customized it to work with Meet Manager, and you have to use WT for this case. So for all cricket ball throw events, the event code for this one is WT. Okay, so let's go back to the registration form. And we are here at the event code. And again, it has 10 characters. This next section here in L shows us the entry mark. The entry mark for the athlete for that particular event. So for instance, if we have an athlete running 400 meter, maybe that athlete is running the 400 meter and say 58.54 seconds. And that would be the time that would be entered here. That time is used, but we don't really use it much in Anguilla because our events are usually one-off events. But it is used for seeding races. So based on the fastest seeding time, you get a specific lane according to the seeding regulations set by the IAAF. Okay, so again, if you don't know the time, you can also leave this section blank. You can leave the section L here blank. The next column is M, and that is the event measure. And that M basically stands for whether it's going to be metric or whether it's going to be imperial. And basically we use M for all of our measurements, whether it is for the field events or the running events, we'll use the metric system. So M is the letter of choice for the M field. The division, not necessarily, not us. We don't really have to. You don't really have to enter that one. You can leave that one blank. For high school, that you can probably put like class 3, class 2, class 1, under 9, whatever the case may be. But it doesn't really have much significance. It doesn't really affect registration process. So you can also leave that blank. O and P also have some other fields, but I haven't put it there. So we can forget about that as well. Just leave those blank. And when I say leave blank, that means you don't put anything in there. Just leave them blank. Okay, and after P is Q. Now Q is the declaration field. This is one of the most important areas that you have to pay close attention to. Now the letters that can go in here is either D or A or blank. All right. You can also put an S, but we won't be working with S's. We won't even be working with A's to a certain extent. So the two things that you need to pay attention to in this area here is whether you're going to put the letter D or you're going to leave it blank. The letter D suggests that that athlete is going to take part in that event. If you have 2 or more athletes taking that, you have to run, like for instance, in this case, the 400 meters. And the event is only calling for one of your athletes to take part. Then you can have those 3 athletes down, but then only the athlete that is competing you will use for that. I'm hearing my phone going off, so I'm just checking to see what's going on. He says she's going home now. And she's not home yet, so she'll be home and hopefully she'll be able to join me later. All right, so the overview of how to just of the field areas that are there. Look at how we can go about and before I continue, let me just show you some other tip here. Panes and unfreeze panes, so I can redo this. Now, when you're entering data, if you notice, if I keep pressing this arrow over, that the column just keep getting hidden, so you can't tell which name you're working with. To correct that is to come right here. I think it's just clicking D2. I think that's a good spot. Clicking D2, and you know you're in D2 because here the cell reference is being shown right here in the name box, right here in the name box, D2. And once you click here in that cell, you'll go to view, and on the section that says freeze panes, you click on that, and then you click freeze panes. And what that does, it provides, keep the names of the athlete available at all times, as well as when you scroll down, the headers up on top will remain. So you can always keep abreast of what you're working with. So that is good. So let's just go over, we enter some new data and see how this can best suit you. Now, I already have an information here for Jenny Fleming. I think this might be her real age, not sure. But if it is, let's just change it and you can see that was. Now, the date of birth has been a problem that I have been encountering from persons sending the registrations. And I probably is at fault for that. So I'm going to show you how you can actually enter the date in the correct format without any errors, because it does not pay attention to the formatting that is there. So the way how you do it is to enter apostrophe, the singular apostrophe, then you enter the month as indicated, 2 digits for the month. Let's say we are working in December, the backslash, the date is the 23rd, and you enter backslash and you enter the year, the 4-digit format. So the person say was born in 1999, all right? And that will give you the date of birth in the format that I want it to be written in. So let's look at the information that we have here so far. The first field is the letter D, and you must put the letter D for all entries. All right. And the last name, Fleming, Janik, initial, no initial here in this case, gender, F, could be a capital F, a common F, it doesn't matter. The date of birth, remember we entered the date of birth using the apostrophe. See the apostrophe here just before the 12, but it does not show up in this cell, which is important. Then we have the team code, which is 4 characters, can only be 4 characters. So if you put in more than 4, only 4 will be recorded. So the team name now is Pinko. So you have an opportunity to give an abbreviated form of the club, and here you can give the full name because you have up to 30 characters. The age of the athlete is only necessary when the date of birth is not given. The school year, not necessary, so you can forego that. The event code is important. You can get that information with the codes from this section here that we normally use and the codes that go along with it. So if you are entering long jump, you should enter LJ instead of spelling out the word long jump. All right. If you don't do that, then I will have to go through it and make sure that it is done before I can upload it into Meet Manager. All right. So let's go back to registration form and the entry mark again. That is not a must in our cases, but you will enter that. That would be the athlete's personal best, or season best, I should say. Season best time, you will enter that in there. But then again, if you don't know, you can leave it blank. It all will go towards the, and the event measure, we put the letter M. M must be a part of this field. Use the letter M. Event division, Again, we can leave that blank. And over here, we have the declaration. And in declaration, we use either the letter D, and I'm suggesting that we only concentrate on just using the letter D. And if it's not the letter D, then we leave it blank. Again, the letter D is used for the athlete who is taking part in that particular event. If it is a substitute, we leave that field blank, or if you want, you can put the A. But for right now, we are suggesting that you just leave it blank. And if you have any notes, you can put the notes in the next column. All right, in the next column, which will be R. Please do not modify this template by inserting rows and so forth. Okay, inserting extra columns. There are no need for any extra columns. This number 2 here selected represents an entire record for that athlete. Now, if you have an athlete that is taking part in more than one event, you cannot, for instance, say that event is the 800. You cannot go and say, okay, he's in for the 400, then you put a comma and then put 800. You can't do that. That's a no-no. What you want to do is create a new record. So what I'll do is just copy that whole entire row. So I'm pressing Control C to copy. And if the athlete is taking part in only 2 events, I'll just select 1 row. If it's 2, 3 events that is completing in total, then I'll select 2 rows and then press Control V. All of the information that was there before. So I don't have to retype that over. All right. And then I can come here in the event code and change it to the relevant events that the athlete is taking part in. All right. So I've used long jump, the 100-meter, and the 400-meter. So there's nothing else that I need to change, basically. All right. Nothing else. Nothing else. And if for instance, if in this case Jenny was down to run the 400-meter, but she was not as an alternate. There's no need for you to put her in for the 400. Just leave it blank, basically. All right. That's fair enough. Okay. Now let's see if we enter. It is possible in the same file to enter 2 different teams. So for instance, like Valley Primary could enter Rainbow Rockets on the same section as the Rainbow Rockets and Valley Primary clubs on the same and in the same sheet, if that's the way how they want to do it. That's not a problem. The system will make the right choice. So let's enter a new athlete. Let's call this athlete John Doe. So the last name is Doe. First name is John. And no initial. Let's say this is a male. But remember, enter the date of birth, apostrophe, the month, say it is January, the 1st of January, and let's say it's 2001. And that's a good date. And let's say we are looking for, let's say, Yellow House. So YELO spells yellow. And the team name is Yellow House. All right, so there we go. Now, if we want this to be capitalized, we can put the H capital, yep. And say this athlete is taking part in the 200 meters. So we'll put in the 200 meters. Let me remove these times because these times are not valid. Okay. Again, we don't have to put in that information there. We can just leave that blank. We have to put M in this section here, so we can know what event measure is, and we can declare that athlete by simply doing that. Okay, and that's it basically. And if this athlete is taking part in more races, we'll copy that and paste it in. All right, let's say he's doing 3 other races. We can select 3 roles and then just paste it in. And then all we need to do is to change the event names. So maybe he's running the 100, the 400, and the high jump. Okay, Becky's calling me. Hi, Bex. I'm live on YouTube right now. That's okay. I've just have just gone through most of the file of entering some new data, and yeah, I've done that. I'm using the apostrophe to make sure that it stays in the format that it should be. All right. Okay. So, all right, Bex. So I'm gonna say bye to Becky now. Yes. Okay, Bex. Bye. All right. Okay. So that's it. That's it basically in a nutshell. Again, I must stress the date of birth. You remind me to tell you about the date of birth. You remember you put in the apostrophe, then the month. See the information up here, MM. So you have 01 for the month, 01 for the day, 2001 for the year. Keep the format. If this would be a problem, if we have a new entry, say we still did a John Doe, all right? Do let's say a space DOE and then John. This will show up as a different person, right? Because there's a space before the D here, even if there's a space after the E. So we have to be careful that when we are entering data that we don't change the spelling of the athlete's name in any way, fashion, or form. So the best way to do it is to basically just copy the row, like how I demonstrated for John Doe. Just copy the entire row and paste it in, and that will be good to go. Hopefully, this should be sufficient. This should be sufficient information for you, because this is all that you have to do to register their athletes. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact me. It sure was not fun not having someone online to help me out, but I'm back now, and you can see me here waving, and I'm going to stop the broadcast, and hopefully good enough for you.